I'm Stephen John Drew from the official GonnaGeek.com show, a weekly geek news podcast that is a part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other awesome geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 372 of the All Things Good and Nerdy show, recorded live on Thursday, September 12th, 2019. I'm all discombobulated because we're recording this at a different time than normal. And yes, if you were watching this live, we did slightly tweak the video intro. I got bored this week and played with things. It was delightful.
And it's Vodka O'Clock.
Vodka O'Clock. Yes, that's Anthony Bachman there entertaining us with Vodka O'Clock.
High octane ATGN.
I mean,
good evening sounds weird. It just sounds weird to hear you say that.
I know, right? But it kind of makes it's interesting though, because if you're drinking vodka on a regular ATGN, you're like, shit, it's like 9:00 a.m. on a Sunday for Anthony. Why the hell is he drinking vodka? Whereas
it would be a little weird if I started off our normal show 9 a.m.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had a little orange juice in there, screwdrivers for breakfast, or a little orange juice and champagne, like that wouldn't be as bad. Yeah, if I start out with mimosas or something. But yeah, if I'm just straight drinking vodka in a mixer just to start the morning on a Sunday, that's not a good day.
So it's Vodka O'Clock for Anthony. I've got water in my bottle here. And Willie, what time is it for you right now?
It is evening. Why don't you all stay for dinner and let's have a bite to eat?
It's crappy vampire o'clock? Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh boy.
Maybe.
Jesus.
This is Willie's audition to be in What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show, you see. He's auditioning to become part of the Vampire House.
I am not New Zealand enough for that show. Well, is the show? Did they use New Zealanders in the show? No, the movie was.
Not in America. I mean, Taika's in the show for one episode, but it's Brits, and
I need to see that. I've heard good stuff.
It is available on FX if you have access to FX. I was also able to purchase it for $10 digitally on Amazon a while back, and I will be rewatching it that way. That show is freaking delightful. For those that don't know what we're talking about, it's What We Do in the Shadows, which is not a remake of the movie. No. It is an ongoing story set place in the same universe established in the movie, because the vampires from the movie show up in the TV show.
I'm okay
nice,
with this.
Nice.
So it's an expanded universe. Excellent.
Willie, I think you're just stupid.
That's
Thanks,
fair.
Naki.
Thank you, Naki.
That's more than
we're glad you're
fair.
here.
Yep.
Maybe I will just stay like this the entire episode.
Oh, Jesus. I'm already regretting ATGN After Dark.
I hope it stops, because I can't handle it.
I need more vodka to deal with this bullshit.
Well, I know one way to stop it. It's by starting the news of the week.
Oh no!
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
Welcome to the news of the week. It's that part of the show where we run down what is in our minds some of the most interesting, geeky, and or nerdy news to have popped up here in the past. It's not actually been a week since we were last on the air, but past 5-ish days. That's what we're going to say. 5-ish days. And we'll tell you guys what we think is cool, what we think is angering, any of those kind of things. I'm a little off my game.
Oh, no, we're not covering angering. That's way too many things to talk about. We're going to stick with the cool stuff.
In the immortal words of one Bachman, you shut that shit down on me. I am not happy.
Oh, I moved him. Yeah. Shut that shit down. Shut that shit.
But you cannot stop what you cannot catch. Whatever that means.
You shall not pass! Now suck my taste! Sorry, I had to shut it down.
Oh, he can't catch you? You're a jackalope now? What the fuck is going on? He's a jackalope vampire. I do not like Willie After Dark.
The strongest of all the nightly creatures. The Jackapire.
Is this Connery he's trying to do now? Are you channeling Sean Connery?
It's the Sean Connery Jackalope Pyre.
I will come to fuck your roof for hot shingles.
What?
Hot shing. You never saw the little saying hot shingles in your area?
Uh-uh.
There's a picture of Connery. He's saying hot singles, but it's Connery, so it's hot shingles.
Oh boy.
Oh come on, that voice was great. Y'all are just haters.
Well, I'm not a hater, Willie. I'm going to let you express yourself. And I'm going to let you express yourself in what your news is you got to share with us this week. So what do you got for us, sir?
Well, it's just a little bit of repeating from a couple days ago from Sunday, because I have finished Man of. I'm gonna fucking say it's Medan, but I mean I think it's Medan. That's correct. Medan. That's Medan. Whatever. Yeah, Man of Medan. At this. Let me. Woosah. Collecting my thoughts here. This game has won me over so much for a game I forgot was coming out, and then quickly pre-ordered it, and then I couldn't play it because I was out of town for some of it, and then had to wait for someone else to play it with, and then finally a week later got to start it. This game is in the runnings for top game of the year. Highly top game of the year.
High praise.
I will say it is a short game, but there's so much replayability because you can change so much. I'm not talking. Until Dawn was good, and I thought it was great, but I mean the story really kind of still goes regardless of who you let live or die. If you can kill a bunch of them, the story kind of still goes on the same way. So much of this game changes on, like, people can be in different situations than the second time you play through. Like, they'll like pair up different ways. Some people will just leave for the whole game, for like the whole second and third act, just to come back at the end. Or they can just stay. It's so fucking crazy. This fucking game is amazing. Like, I have played through it twice so far. My second playthrough, me and a friend played online together. When you do that, I think it's called, there's play by yourself, and there's movie night where it's all local couch co-op where you pass the controller back and forth. I can't remember the other one, the one I played online, but pretty much both of you are playing at the same time, and you're both two different characters at the same time. And it's kind of like Until Dawn or Telltale, where you go talk, you go look at things, and then you're kind of both. It's kind of like playing D&D, where it's like a group storytelling experience.
Interesting. Similar to like the Telltale games where you can set up to play like group play and everyone helps make the decision, that kind of thing.
No, but everyone's more hands-on in this, on the online mode, where like you're literally, they were controlling one character, I was controlling another character on this little small boat. They were talking to other people, and I went downstairs and underneath the boat to talk to someone, and we were both having two different conversations and doing things completely separately.
Interesting. So you mentioned it was a short game. How short is a typical playthrough for you then?
About 5.5 hours.
Okay.
Which kind of sounds really short, but when you can go through it again and make drastic changes where everything's just, the whole ending can be completely different. I'm blown away. I mean, I already love that those types of games anyway, but this just Supermassive did a super fucking great job on this. Kudos to you. I hope they put that on the box art of the next one. I will say this too: when you do beat the game, they already have a trailer for the next in the series of the Dark Pictures anthology.
How many are supposed to be in the series? Do we know at this point, or is it just they're going to keep rolling them out as long as they're good?
I think they have 6 planned, or it's 6 more planned, but they're going to be doing 2 a year. So fall, spring, so it's like that. And the curator, the character who is the curator, I believe is going to be like the host, like through all the games, kind of like the opening of like Twilight Zone. You know what I mean? And he also pops in kind of like the psychiatrist, Peter Stormare in Until Dawn, how he kind of kept coming into the game and talking to you. he kind of does that in this game too, and asks you a question. He's like, "Hey, do you want a little clue as to what's going on?" I said, "No."
Was it the same shrink in Man of Medan?
No. It's someone else. He looked familiar, but when I looked him up, it was not the same person I was thinking of.
Okay, so it's that type of character, but not the same character.
Yeah, he's kind of like more like the host of like the Twilight Zone, where he comes in and talks to you at the beginning, and then I guess, he also pops in like in the middle of the story. If that makes sense.
As a fan of the Crypt Keeper, I am down for that. I always love me some John Cassar.
I love.
He's not quite like that. Oh, I wish they would bring that back. I mean, they're bringing back Dark Crystal. Bring back fucking Tales from the Crypt.
They had a thing where they were bringing it back, but it was going to be fucking Shamalama Ding Dong. And so I was not too enthused. Apparently they've done like 10 episodes, but I don't know if the show got shut down or if it's actually going to see the light of day.
Wasn't
it's like all news about it like disappeared.
Wasn't it supposed to be like TNT or TBS? I think I remember.
I thought so.
Yeah, it was like on one of those two. I mean, of course, Turner's gonna own it or whatever. I mean, I think there's also some kind of hold on it where this, because I remember going on HBO Go or Now, whichever one I was looking at, they're both the same thing. I was like, let me go look at some Tales from the Crypt. Let me look on the. Wait, it's not on here. I had to look it up. Apparently, there's some kind of rights holding where they can't put it on their HBO app.
Yeah, the last news article about it is from December of 2018 with Shyamalan talking about why the show is dead.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, so I believe they killed it.
I mean, I think, M. Night Shyamalan has, he is, in my eyes, he's redeemed himself.
Having him involved is a flip of a coin. It's either great or it's fucking weak sauce.
Even though he did mess up super royally the last Airbender.
Yeah,
that's bad.
Yeah, you either get Unbreakable or you get Lady in the Water.
Both
Lady in the Water is shit. He wrote the writer in as the fucking Deus Ex Machina and then cast himself as the writer in his own movie. Shit. It's utter and complete shit.
I had no problem with that myself. I saw it in theater. Because you know what makes that movie great?
Nothing at all makes that movie
Bryce
great.
Dallas Howard?
No, the God. Why is my brain not remembering his name?
Maybe if I was drunk,
the main guy. What's his name?
Maybe if I was drunk and stoned, that movie might be great.
No. He was the Rhino in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Paul Giamatti?
Yeah, I knew it was Paul.
Was Giamatti on that one?
Yep. Yeah, he was the main.
Giamatti.
Yeah, he was okay, but yeah, he was not great, and that movie was awful.
And also, you had the one guy who was like, "Oh my God, I remember this line." And he had the list too. He was like, "Yeah, I'm only working out one side of my body. I'm like a scientist." It was so great. I love that movie. It's a dark fairy tale, man. You guys just don't know art. I'm kidding on that last one.
Everything can be interpreted as art, I suppose, but that is not an art that I care for. How do you like that for diplomacy?
That's fair, but I did enjoy it and still will anytime I want to show it to somebody.
You enjoy it all you want. I will not be watching that shit again.
And I will say Unbreakable is a good movie, but it's kind of hard to like recommend fully for people just because of how slow it is. And if people don't like slow movies, it's a hard sell. You have to at least give me that.
That's fair.
Say Lady in the Water is also kind of slow too. But I like the dark fairy
Lady in the Water is shitty.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there.
Says the Man of Steel fan.
The Village is slow, but The Village was a good idea.
Man of Steel is the best DC universe, whatever they call this universe.
It's not even top 3. I've already told you. You're fucking wrong. You're wrong.
Best
you're
one.
wrong. Wrong. It may not even be top 5.
There's only one dumb thing.
5 movies in that universe.
I think there's only 6.
I will give you.
I might be able to argue that it's the 6th one.
And we've already argued this too on Twitter, but I will repeat it here. I will say I haven't seen Aquaman, so I don't. So my opinion might change. It might be the 2nd best DC movie. I don't know. I will hold till I see Aquaman. If you
think Man of Steel is better than Shazam, you don't understand either character at all.
No, I don't like. I mean, Shazam was okay. I had fun with it, but I mean,
Shazam was a perfect on-screen representation of the character from the comic book.
I don't care
Zack
about
Snyder
a perfect
Superman
representation.
doesn't understand how
I want a good movie. I don't care about a perfect representation. But you know what?
Fucking movie doesn't matter if you get the character wrong.
There's only one dumb thing that happens in Man of Steel that I really can see in my eyes, and that's fucking was Kevin Costner just walking into the tornado. Why does he do that? You know this adopted son of yours can withstand this, no worries, and can save the dog. So you're just gonna walk there, kill yourself and the dog.
Shit. I'm not doing another hour-long diatribe of all the problems about Man of Steel. Of a movie that I actually own
with it. I liked it.
And you know what? The worst DC movies ever made.
It gave you the greatest, one of the greatest memes ever. It's like when Lois Lane's interviewing him in that little prisoner room or whatever. There's someone who like photoshopped Nick Cage's face on her face, and it was hilarious. It's hilarious.
I apologize for stirring the pot, gentlemen. I should.
Man of Medan.
Damn it, Chris! You know I've been drinking.
Man of Medan. I cannot recommend. I still haven't looked up whether or not it's on Xbox One or not, or PC.
I've got it pulled up here.
Whether or not it's exclusive.
PS4, Xbox One, and Microsoft Windows. It says it is on.
Okay, so PC as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, so boom. I don't. Fuck being a fanboy console exclusive. I don't fucking care. Play this game. It is great on whatever console you want. In fact, get one of your friends to get it on their console as well, so you can play it together online and be blown the fuck away.
Is there crossplay online? Do you know?
You can tag team the story with two different people playing at the same time?
Yeah, like I did with my friend.
Oh.
If you do it, Balkman, we can do it. If you get it for the PS4, and if Chris, well, we can't do it. It's only two people like that online. But how I play
but it has a co-op mode. That's awesome. I didn't.
Yeah, that's what the whole thing I said. And there's that third mode where you can do up to 5 people, in the same room, couch co-op. And I think I haven't played that mode yet, so I can't really say. But from what I know, is you pass the controller. I think it might prompt you, hey, pass the controller to this person.
You have people in your group designated as certain characters in the game.
I'm guessing so. That makes sense since there are 5 characters on this ship, so that would make sense.
That's kind of cool.
So I'm guessing
it is awesome to see. It's awesome to see how they're pushing these make your own adventure type video games.
Oh,
the type of stuff they're trying to innovate.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I love Until Dawn, this one is better, even though it's shorter. And I cannot wait for the next one. And the next game is going to be called Welcome to Little Hope. And of course, it's an anthology game. Their game storyline, so it's not really, connected to it. Or they might throw in little connections. I don't know, but it's going to be. I'm just kind of interested to see where they go from this, and I cannot wait. Maybe they do something with your save file from the previous game and put a little something. That'd be cool. I don't know. If they don't do it, I'm okay with it because this game is so good. As long as they keep up with this, I cannot wait for next year and then the year after. And I think the year after, is my math correct?
I don't know
math.
I don't know.
I
don't know if we should trust you with math though.
But you know who is good at math? The Jackapire, because he's like a count.
No.
1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 out of 4 stars.
Fucking 4-point systems are stupid.
5 stars out of 5 stars.
There you go.
This guy's creepy.
That's true too.
I don't. Well, I mean, that may be. Well, that doesn't really. What we're talking. That's a
We're
failed.
Talking about the Jackapire there, who's creepy.
The Jackapire wasn't being creepy though.
He's always creepy.
He's menacing.
That's not really menacing. It was more creepy.
Nope.
You know what? My news story's over with.
The Jackapire is only 2 feet tall. He's not menacing. He's just creepy.
I'm okay with that deep voice. That's fucking awesome. Hey, if anyone's listening and they want to draw that, fucking go for it. Do whatever you want. Have at it. I don't care. It'd be awesome to see. But yeah, fuck y'all. I'm gonna go away for a second. Peace.
Well, I've been certainly put in my place. I'll go next with my news story then. So we haven't had a chance really to talk in depth about Disney Plus and the lineup or anything like that. But what is kind of cool right now is there's a bunch of stuff coming to Disney Plus. We've talked about that in passing before. But right now in the Netherlands, they're doing one of their tests of Disney Plus, and it is available for free for people in the Netherlands right now. Why is this important? because we get an idea of what the app looks like, how it works, what kind of content's offered in 4K, HDR, Dolby Vision, and Atmos sound, things like that. But we're also getting an idea of some of the back catalog of shows that are on Disney Plus that Disney didn't really go and delve deep into. Like, we know stuff's coming like The Mandalorian, an Obi-Wan Kenobi show, all the various Marvel shows, things like that. And that's awesome. That's great. But other than The Mandalorian, none of that stuff's going to be out there on day one on Disney Plus. So the back catalog of stuff, it's kind of important. We do know that Disney bought Fox. They have access to Fox's entire back catalog. And we're supposedly getting the entire run of The Simpsons on Disney Plus. The beta test in the Netherlands doesn't have Simpsons on there yet. But what is more important that it has to folks that may have grown up in the 80s, 90s, folks who may have grown up prior to the year 2000 and loved their Marvel cartoons, is there is a metric crap ton of different cartoons from pre-2000 that are on there. I found a story over on io9.com where they were watching the Twitters to see some of the folks who live in the Netherlands to find out what they'd seen on there. So there is a guy by the name of GJ Kujiman, I don't think I said that correctly though, that they quoted a tweet in, and he has been going on there and looking to see all the different content, answering questions, showing all of the animated series that are on there. Sadly, X-Men Evolution isn't on there, one of my favorite series. But he did go through and say, people have asked, here's all the pre-2000 Marvel shows I found so far. 1979 Spider-Woman, 1981 Spider-Man, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends from 1982.
Yes!
Yes! It gets
That's
even
the
better.
one I grew up with.
X-Men, the 1992 cartoon that is arguably one of the best adaptations of the X-Men to have hit the small screen.
So X-Men in the animated series.
X-Men the animated series, yes.
Nice. Yes.
The 1994 Iron Man cartoon, 1994 Fantastic Four cartoon, the 96 Incredible Hulk cartoon, the 98 Silver Surfer cartoon, the 1999 Spider-Man Unlimited, and supposedly the 1992-94 Spider-Man as well, as part of the back catalog on Disney+.
Nice.
None of this is any of the new content. This is just the back catalog stuff they're rolling out to be like, hey, we heard you guys like Marvel stuff. Here, you're paying monthly. Go watch all this old stuff that you remember liking before and that you can't find decent copies of anywhere, because I challenge you to try and go find a legitimate copy of X-Men the Animated Series to go and watch online somewhere.
Oh,
I can't find it.
I just realized another reason I'm getting Disney Plus. I had not even thought about like the Marvel back catalog. You know what I haven't seen since I lost my tape of it off of Fox? The Gen X movie.
Well, no one's mentioned that is in there yet. That doesn't
I
necessarily
still
mean
have
it
my
won't
tape
be.
of it.
It's something they would own now, so there's a chance it might show up in the
Oh,
Marvel
you know
back
it's not.
catalog.
And you mean Generation X?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I said.
At least. Oh yeah, you did, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so. Now, one thing to keep in mind is they have some issues when it comes to the streaming rights for some of their content currently. So what you see in the Netherlands now is not necessarily 100% representative of what we'll see in the United States, for instance, when the service launches. Because they have like every Marvel movie on there except like Captain Marvel and one other random one out of all the Marvel flicks. When this launches live in the United States, I think we get Iron Man, Thor the Dark World, and some other random movie from the Marvel flicks. And then they're gradually adding them in there as they regain the distribution rights to them. So we're not going to have quite the same catalog we see in the Netherlands. But this back catalog of cartoons and things like that, I don't see any reason why we might not have those, because I think they own those rights free and clear, and I don't think they're streaming anywhere. You can find bootlegs on YouTube that they haven't taken down because they speed things up by like 1.25% just so it's barely enough to get through, but there's no legitimate site that I know of to go and rewatch most of these 90s cartoons, 70s, 80s, 90s cartoons. I just wish they had X-Men Evolution, because that's a freaking baller-ass show.
And you got to figure anything that they don't currently have the streaming rights for, eventually they're going to get. They own 60% of Hulu. You now have Disney has the whole Fox catalog, the Marvel catalog, and the Lucasfilm catalog. Anything that they didn't previously have the streaming rights to, they're going to get them back. Besides the Marvel film deals done in like the late 90s when they were going bankrupt and they sold everything to, to stay out of bankruptcy and then went bankrupt anyways. As far as I know, those are the only deals that were like movie deals done in perpetuity to where in perpetuity. Ah, damn word. To where if they kept making movies that could keep the character the way Sony's doing with Spider-Man. But then the way somehow I don't understand how Universal still has the Hulk because they haven't put a fucking movie in 10 years.
They
But-
made a deal with them.
Yeah, but most of those deals said you had to have something in production and something had to come out every like 3 years, which is why the Sony thing, there's always a movie in production.
I think the
Right.
deal was that they get to use the Hulk in like their Avenger movies and other movies.
And
Well, no,
they
but
still
Universal still has the rights to the Hulk as a movie, as a solo title.
correct as a solo
Yeah.
title. However, the loophole theoretically would be when they do the She-Hulk title on Disney Plus. There's absolutely
Yeah.
no reason why Mark Ruffalo as the Incredible Hulk can't show up in that because Universal does not have a TV deal for the Hulk.
Yeah.
So that is
Well-
theoretically how you could continue Ruffalo's story in a solo fashion if you wanted, is do a Hulk TV show.
Yep. But then, going forward, you've got the Disney lawyer firm, which is probably one of the biggest stacks of lawyers in the world, and all the money they could ever want. And they're just going to be going forward, getting back properties that Marvel used to own, that Fox used to own, that some streaming company over here has the rights to, some streaming company over here has the rights to. And eventually they will get everything onto either Disney Plus or Hulu. Because it's going to be, hey, Disney partially or fully owns this character. We will have it back in our catalog eventually.
You are correct. Now, some of the other stuff they showed on here, I was going through his Twitter right now. He's been sharing a bunch of screenshots of what the UI looks like and delving into some of their shows. Spider-Man, the 90s cartoon, officially confirmed. I saw that in there. At
Nice.
least for the Netherlands release. There is also a separate section they found in the Marvel section of Disney Plus that is Marvel series and specials. And the thumbnails it shows here is Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The entire run will be on there. Marvel's Runaways, which is a Hulu exclusive. Or, no, that's ABC Family or Freeform exclusive, I think.
Runaways is Hulu.
Yeah, it's Hulu exclusive.
Cloak and Dagger is Freeform.
Okay, they have Runaways, Cloak and Dagger, Agent Carter, The Inhumans, Avengers Assembling a Universe, and it looks like I'm seeing a preview of Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which is a friggin' awesome cartoon, one of the best Avengers adaptations as a cartoon I've seen.
It is the best Marvel-made cartoon that got canceled because of crappy deals that happened at the time, like as they were going in their third season.
Yeah.
It is the most comic book-like cartoon that they've ever done of Marvel-based characters. It was fantastic.
Sorry, did I hear Inhumans in there? Or did I
Inhumans
hear
is in there.
Intolerables?
You're okay, fair.
The Intolerable Inhumans. That's
Yeah.
their next spinoff.
So just a heads up what they've seen so far. Remember, this is an early beta test they're doing of Disney Plus. The same Twitter user who I mentioned earlier, we'll just call him GJ because I can't say his last name, said, as others has mentioned, it seems the 4K media isn't streaming as such yet on Disney Plus. It's 1080p max now, but we'll see if they enable this later on in the trial. But they're all indicated separately, and it's a great thing to identify them later at launch. So they have a separate section in there that shows 4K, HDR, Atmos kind of things that you can tell what films or television programs and things like that are set up in that regard. So it's looking interesting. They've got all the Star Wars movies on there, for instance, and I guess what he was mentioning in there, he said Episode 4 still has the Fox fanfare attached on Disney Plus, but the other 5 have the new Lucasfilm logo they put on everything when they bought it originally. So that's strange. Because remember, Fox retained the rights to A New Hope because the original distribution deal George Lucas had done.
Yep. And it is weird to see a Star Wars movie that doesn't start with the 20th Century Fox fanfare.
Yeah.
Like that just it feels off.
Evidently, the Disney Plus beta is available on all the apps, so Android TV, Xbox One, PS4, iOS, that is all working where they're doing this beta test, which is free. I don't think you should probably VPN in there and try it, folks, because they'll probably find you and shut you down.
Oh yeah, this is Disney doing something big. I would not be dipping into this pool.
Meh.
Don't.
I'm still not sold on it.
Well, that's fair.
That's all right. I'm getting it. Chris is getting
I've
it. We'll
already
tell you about
gotten
it. That's
I
right.
mean-
Yeah. I haven't gotten mine yet, but I will be.
I'm still the biggest thing I want to see is the what if. I'm just waiting on that. That's the biggest thing I want to see.
That looks like it could be really
And I have
good.
to and I'll wait for that probably.
There's so much they can do with that show. It's insane.
Yeah, but I just wish it wasn't animated. It'd be so awesome if they just get the actors doing the shit. That'd be so cool. But
It'd be
they're
a
It
not.
would
lot
cost
hard to
so
do.
much money.
Oh, yeah, but they're gonna
Yeah.
get the actors to do the voices though, which
That is
yeah,
correct.
Getting the actors to do the voices and then not having the limitations of it being in the real world guarantees that they'll get to do the crazier stories. The type of stuff that they couldn't do. Like, I mean, people have talked about the idea of them doing Marvel Zombies. Like, the money it would cost to rebuild the Marvel Universe and then zombify everybody. Like, it's so much cheaper to do voice actors in animation.
Well, and one other thing to consider is it's a lot easier with these actors' busy schedules to get them back in, because voice acting, I'm not saying is easier, but it takes less time than on stage, on set acting, I would think. So
well, and they don't have to come back in.
Yeah,
if
or
they're
they
up in
could be like-
Toronto or Vancouver doing a film, they can step into a voice box there
exactly.
and send digital files.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping it turns out more like the Ultimates or Hulk versus more than the Ultimates 2.
Ultimates 2 was really bad.
Or the Iron Man, the Invincible Iron Man animated. That was not good.
Yeah,
Or the Doctor Strange one too.
That one wasn't very good either.
I like
Yeah.
the Doctor Strange one.
Doctor
I
Strange
did
was
not.
okay.
It was a very different version of it, but the way they did his character in that cartoon, I really liked.
But the Iron Man one, that was terrible.
Yeah, the Iron Man one was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I own all of them.
Hulk versus and the Ultimates. That, oh my god, the Ultimates was just okay until you got to the end, till Hulk just comes in and just destroys everything,
Well,
and
that's
then
'cause
he's
they
still
didn't
just
let-
angry, and he's
that's
like
'cause they
backhand
made-
a Hulk or
They
Captain.
made the Ultimate Avengers cartoon kid friendly instead of making it based on the book, because the book was way more adult.
Yeah.
No, I just mean like the very end of the animated movie where like Hulk
Yeah.
just says like, and Captain America's like, "I want to thank you for doing such a great job." Extends his hand for a handshake, and Hulk just backhands the fuck out of him and starts wrecking everybody.
In the
that Hulk
comics,
fight
Hulk
in-
was killing and eating
Yeah, he
the
was a
Chitauri.
cannibal.
Oh, I
yeah.
remember that. Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
in the
sorry,
comic, he
not
was
cannibal.
way worse.
Can't be a cannibal if they're not the same species.
Fair.
Well, there was probably some humans he ate too.
Didn't he
I mean,
eat
that's
humans
fair.
at one point in time too?
I
Never
think he
really
did
read the
when he
Ultimates.
wrecked part of New York. Yeah.
But
'Cause I
just
think
remember-
there was questions about whether or not he was a cannibal, and people weren't sure.
Oh, and that one part where Ant-Man as Giant Man picks him up, is like, "You're still just a little man to me, Banner," and he just knocks it open his hand. He jumps down and punches his knee and just takes out his kneecap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes down to the ground. It's like, yes, it's so
There was some good stuff in that
It
one.
was some good
That just
stuff.
that just raised it from okay to this is fucking amazing.
Nostalgia right there. So let's wrap up the news of the week. Anthony, what do you got for us this week?
All right, I got two little things. Looks like for all the Game of Thrones prequels that we're looking at, it's now up to a count of 5. So
What?
there's possible 5 pilots going to test that HBO is looking at. Yeah, which, hey, when you have a show that big, whether or not people like the ending, apparently enough people watched it that they want more Game of Thrones.
Let's
But
get
the
different
good
writers,
news-
please.
Well, here's the good news. On an exclusive article on Deadline, they said, "Hold your dragons, Game of Thrones fans. Another prequel to hugely popular series is eyeing a green light. They've learned that HBO is close to giving a pilot order to a Game of Thrones prequel from the author and Game of Thrones co-executive producer George R. R. Martin himself." And
George
Colony-
Railroad Martin.
Yep, George Railroad Martin, Kill 'Em All Martin, and Colony co-creator and executive producer Ryan Condal set 300 years before the events of the Game of Thrones, tracking the beginning and the end of House Targaryen. So the guy who created the Iron Throne, the people that brought dragons to Dragonstone, the actual civil war between the Targaryen family that leads to the eventual downfall of Aegar Targaryen, the Mad King that Jaime Lannister killed.
So,
So it's
the rise and
whole-
fall. So that means
Yeah, it would be
starts
the
300 years and then it ends about 30 years before the show.
Yeah.
The first, okay, so 300 to 30
So-
years before.
So it's one of those ones where you know the ending. So you have that, what I always think of as a slight disappointment in a prequel, where you know exactly where it's going to end. But the idea of actually seeing the guy that takes the 7 kingdoms and then makes the Iron Throne, like, that's a lot of good visual fodder for a show. Like, there's a lot to do in there.
Question.
Yes.
When is George R. R. Martin going to have time to, I don't know, finish the fucking books?
Oh, you think he's going to? You have high hopes,
You-
myself.
You know how much money he has now? Does he need to?
Arguably, he has continued to promise that he would. I don't care. I don't care for Game of Thrones, so it doesn't really matter to me. However,
listen.
my wife loves the books and liked the series until the last season, where it kind of turned her off on it. So part of me is going, I like to consume a lot of these things as books myself. I'd be really annoyed if a book series I love made a TV show and then they just kind of stopped making the books and finished it as TV shows.
Yeah,
no.
I mean, that can be disappointing. But as someone who just finished the first book, I just finished Game of Thrones and I just started Clash of Kings. I'm like 90 pages into the second one. I really enjoyed what I've seen of the series so far because I've seen everything but the last season. So I still really like Game of Thrones. So, I have the ending to look forward to, which apparently everybody disliked. But the idea of getting more and getting the world of the Targaryens and how they rose to power and took over the Seven Kingdoms, like, I'm interested in that. Like, that sounds like it could be a really fun show. And, I mean, we've seen what they did with that world. Like, it was basically getting a primetime movie every week. Like, that was one of the most well-made shows I've ever seen. And if you have one where it's during the time where dragons are just kicking ass everywhere, like, that sounds so cool.
I can't remember the name of the
I'm
castle
stoked.
that got. There was one castle that was still like burned. Oh, sorry. Oh, Jesus, where the hell did that come from?
Are you talking
there's
about
one-
Harrenhal?
Yeah, that one where it's burned down and like said it could withstand like 1,000 or like 1,000 armies beating down on it, but it could not take a dragon from the sky. One dragon took it down.
Yeah, 'cause you had all this lore that they talked about in the Game of Thrones. Like, it's a of all the different ones they've talked about so far, it's the one that I think I have the most interest in. Whether or not it gets an actual green light after pilot, who knows? But yeah, it looks like right now we're looking at 5 possible prequels or spinoffs that they're looking at doing, and HBO's going to greenlight one of them. One of them's going to be a show. Like, that's just a given. So who knows which one it's going to be? But more than likely, we're going to get more Game of Thrones, and if we're lucky, they'll stick the landing. But as we all know, it's the hardest thing to do. We watched Lost. We saw, I've seen so far of The Walking Dead. Sticking the landing's the hard part.
Heroes.
Lots and lots of people can write good stories. Lots of people can come up with great ideas. Lots of people have great, themes and settings. Very few writers can nail an ending that leaves everybody satisfied. It is a very tricky, very hard thing to do, and very few writers are good at it. But the more chances they take, the more shots you take at the dartboard, the better chances you have. And then I had one more tiny thing. One of the first-person shooters that I've been loving lately is Apex Legends, and they did an announcement which was kind of weird, but I also kind of like it. Apex Legends, which is a free-to-play game on every system, Xbox, PC, PS4, is going to release a physical copy of the game. And it's like, why the fuck would they do a physical copy of the game? If you buy the physical copy of the game right now, it comes in 2 versions, Bloodhound or Lifeline. If you get the Bloodhound kit, you get a Bloodhound skin, a Bloodhound badge, 1,000 in-game tokens, and a red and black skin for the Prowler weapon. If you get the Lifeline kit, you get a Lifeline Angel Medic outfit. You get a Flatline skin, 1,000 tokens, a Lifeline badge, and a Lifeline banner. So we're talking $20 for these physical copies of the game. The 1,000 tokens that you get along with it would cost you $10 in-game. So basically, if you were going to buy $10 worth of in-game tokens anyways, you can buy this for $20 and it basically only costs you $10. So if you're a huge fan, it's a way to get it out there in the public to where people will see it. If there might be people that unless the game's on a shelf, they don't see it. Like, that just happens. So it's one way that EA is trying to get dig into our pockets a little more, but get some money to Respawn, which getting money to Respawn I'm happy with. Fuck EA. But that's a different thing. But yeah, I thought it was a cool looking thing because at first I was like, that's a really weird idea, and then I looked at it and it's kind of cool for the physical packs. Like, the actual skins are fantastic. The Bloodhound skin is creepy looking as shit, and the Lifeline Angel skin is really cool looking. The gun skins look cool. I mean, for $10, like after the last 2 events, they usually charge $10 for a skin anyways in that game. So for what would end up costing you $10, you're getting 4 different personalizations for your characters and weapons instead of just one. So it's kind of like buying a discounted bundle of a character if you like. So if you happen to be a Bloodhound or a Lifeline main, and those are one of your 2 favorite characters, like, it's probably a pretty good deal for people that really like those. And then, hey, once it's out for 6 months, 8 months, a year, maybe they go on sale. If the damn thing drops down to $10, I'll definitely grab both of them.
Well, Epic has done similar things with Fortnite. I've seen Fortnite physical copies on occasion in stores, and it is literally just a DVD case that inside has a digital code you redeem online to get you what's in the case,
Yeah.
which was the funny thing. So
Which is what
Apex is actually a disc.
I'm figuring
or-
what this will be.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So it's an interesting way to get it on the store shelves where you then have to deal with the kid factor. Mommy, I want this game. That kind of thing.
And when you look at that, yeah, the characters that they're using are two of the most used characters in the game, two of them that a lot of people main, and so it's two really popular characters that people like. So I can see why they chose those two.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bloodhound and Lifeline are both really fun characters to play, and yeah, they're really cool looking skins. But yeah, that was my news of the week.
Billy, did you have more you wanted to boo on this?
Boo! No, that's just me being spooky.
Oh, no. My bad. I'm sorry.
But
I tried.
That does wrap up our news of the week, and we moved a little fast this week because, hey, we're bringing back a segment that everyone knows and loves,
shit.
and we've made it better. So, guys, let's get ready.
That's right. Time for pro wrestling trivia, where I can trick Chris and saying things wrong.
Oh,
All right.
shit, man, I did bad there. No. We're not doing pro
Actually,
wrestling
didn't do too
trivia.
bad.
We're going back to one of Willie's favorite segments. So here we go.
Unprotected Advice with Willie D. Nelson.
Unprotected all the way in, baby.
That's right. We're back with a new installment of Unprotected
You made
Advice.
that so much creepier.
That even has its own video intro now. We're not effing around when it comes to Unprotected Advice with Willie
Oh
Nelson.
no, we're definitely effing around.
So special thanks
wait,
to
I'm
one.
sorry, I am.
Special thanks to one Gonna Geek president, Stephen John Drew, for giving me a critical eye at Willie's new intro video and saying, you should have it fade in what Willie says when he says it as text on screen. I went, that's fucking genius. So
Well
we totally
done, sir.
did it.
Well done, sir.
Willie, this is part of how we're cleaning up the show, is we're putting video transitions and stuff. And if you guys have been watching, you've probably seen some of that. But this one I'm especially proud of because
I like the news of the week one.
the news of the week one was fun too.
I saw it, I was like, ooh.
This is super cheesy. It was fun, and we're here for Unprotected Advice. And Willie, do you want me to explain what Unprotected Advice is? Or do you want to explain it to our listeners out there?
I'll let you do all the heavy
He's
lifting.
gonna let me do all the heavy lifting. Unprotected Advice. This is Willie Nelson. He knows a lot of things about life. He's lived life. He's had fun. He's got some stories he can tell, and he's got a lot of life experience.
I'm a guru, if you would.
He is a guru. It almost makes sense that Willie is in a unique position to give life advice to people that need it. And we did solicit some questions on YouTube from some ATGN listeners. We'll get to those at the end. And we also, to do this segment, kind of troll around on Reddit and find some sources there in r/relationship advice and r/advice. So we have two things from Reddit. Willie, I'll read it to you. You'll give your advice, and then Anthony and I will chime in with any supporting information we would have, because between the three of us, white 30-year-old men, 30-plus-year-old men, I'm sure we can tell the story of everything that needs to be told when it comes to this advice.
And I want to add that these are not pre-screened by me.
That
at
is
all.
true.
I have no idea what's coming up.
Willie has not seen any of these. Anthony has not seen any of these. I put them together prior to the show, and they will be be hearing and seeing them live for the first time as soon as I switch over to this screen right here. So our first comes from r/relationship advice from user Chuck R7 9 hours ago. It's entitled, "My wife is done with sex and I am not ready to be celibate for the rest of my life. Are we done?" Willie, are you prepared to help this man out?
Yes, I am, sir.
All right, let me read this out for you. He goes, "Since finishing having kids a few years ago, my now 38-year-old wife has not been interested in sex for a long time. She would go through the motions for my sake, but grew to resent the chore more and more, to the point where she would avoid me like the plague, and we were fighting about it all the time. She swears it's not me and it's not due to bad performance, etc. She just doesn't want to. We have done some reading and been to a counselor, but always ends up along the learning to be nicer to her so she'll get in the mood lines, which is rubbish for our situation." That might be a clue of where we are with the term rubbish. Could be in the UK. "No matter how relaxed, happy, rested, etc. she is, the idea of sex is instant agitation to her and she gets mad. Essentially, if I try to get her in the mood, she gets pissed. If I'm super nice and thoughtful, etc., She's happy, but nothing happens. If I do nothing, nothing happens. Recently, I've stopped asking, and the fighting has stopped, and she's happy, but I'm dying inside. Is our relationship over, and we just need to cut the cord? Or is it normal, and I just need to come to terms with my sex life being over? I don't want an affair, etc. I want my wife to want a physical relationship with me. Is that too much to ask? So, Willie, is that too much to ask?
No, I would say no. That is a big part of a relationship, to tell you the truth. And if this is like, a new predicament that was not, beforehand, like everything was normal before, and this is a new thing, I mean, there's nothing wrong with, being, seems like she just turned asexual, which is, there's nothing wrong with it if you have a partner that is okay with it. But if you just decide that you are now, I mean, he says he doesn't want an affair. My question is, but what if the wife was okay with it? If he, found someone else to sleep with? Would she have a
you're thinking like
problem with
open marriage then? If she was okay with it?
Well, it seems like she wouldn't want to sleep with anyone because she sounds asexual from the description. So I maybe polyamorous, something along those lines, where it's. Man, this is a tough one.
I wanted to give you a tough one coming back.
That's a good one.
I don't know what the right answer is, other than I think they've done everything. It sounds like, I'm not saying to quit, but the way the user describes this is they've gone to counseling, they've tried to talk things out, and they're just kind of at an impasse.
The quick answer is, yeah, it's over. You should probably separate. I mean, it sucks, but if this like I said, this is a new thing, and this is a change, and it sounds like it's a deal breaker for him, then it's a deal breaker. Deal breaker's a deal breaker. That's what it's called that for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no one sucks here. That's what I'm getting at.
Nobody sucks.
It's a sucky situation, but
there's some suggestions in here, because he says they've gone to talk to a counselor, etc. Is that maybe they should go and speak to a doctor, because they mentioned that if you're taking a different psychiatric drug, or if you have different kinds of depression or things like that, low libido can be part of that. Maybe try and go and check and make sure it's not just she doesn't want to, but they can get on the same page and be like, this doesn't seem normal considering how our relationship used to be, and maybe get investigated. Well, I don't know what the right answer is. This was a tough one, and it's a legit issue.
Well, you know how you first introduced this segment saying I might have some life experiences with some of these. Well, I do have a life experience with this exact situation.
So we picked a good topic. So Willie,
I had a girlfriend, we had both a high sex drive. That's how it got started. She did take some medicine, and it did affect her libido, and it got really bad where just nothing was going on for weeks on end. And I mean, I felt bad, but I did end the relationship, because that is something that is kind of, I see as important in a relationship. I mean, your libido should kind of be matching in a way, right?
Or they need to be complementary, for lack of a better term. Matching.
Yeah,
ideally.
Yeah, I mean, so that's how I handled mine. I mean, it was sad. I mean, I was in a relationship with this girl for a year and a half, and it was a good relationship. But when that kind of happened, there was other things, but that was kind of like the straw on the camel's back, if you will. And I kind of had it, and since then, I mean, I've kind of been happier, if you will. I mean, so from my life experience, do what makes you happy. And it does not sound like you're happy in this relationship, or maybe if you really want to give it a shot, then try out like the different medication thing, if that is what it is. And I will say, fuck that therapist. Yeah, just be nice to her. You just gotta do that. Like, no, there's something wrong. Like, she does not want anything.
It says she gets pissed about it if he tries to get on. Now, granted, here's the other problem we have. Here's the other problem we have with a Reddit comment like this. We only really get one side of it.
I'll give you that.
So what I will say is, the way he presents this, he does come off as though he is the sympathetic husband. He's significant other, for lack of a better term, and he's grappling with how do I address this. But we don't know what it's actually like in real life. Maybe she's getting pissed because he's always on her about, hey, we haven't had sex. We need to have sex. We haven't had sex. And I could say I would probably get frustrated if my significant other were always on me to have sex.
Experiences, yes, you do get frustrated. But seriously, fuck that therapist, man.
I started you out with a hard one, Willie. Don't worry.
I know. I'm really angry at this therapist. Really angry at this therapist. In fact, you should get your money back.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will say this right now. There's 937 comments on the on this topic on Reddit right now. So there are a lot of people that are chiming in to try and offer their support or ideas to Chuck R7 on Reddit. And this is only a 9-hour-old topic, and it made the front page of Reddit.
And I will say, like you said before, that I can only answer with the information I am giving. And now if I feel like there's a lot of there's very one-sided, and I'm going to mention that, but this, I mean this kind of sounds like someone's frustrated and he's just giving it all out right then and there. And I mean, it sounds kind of close to what it is. So I mean, it doesn't seem like there's a lot missing from this. Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem, with the information given,
it doesn't seem like there's a bad guy in this. It seems like there is people struggling to try and figure something out. And
like if it is medication and it's or if it's like just something natural and she just doesn't at all, she's just an asexual, which you can't be mad at. I mean, because it's just a sucky situation, buddy.
Mm-hmm. It's just a shit situation.
I am curious. I can't remember in the beginning. Does it say how long they've been married?
It doesn't say how long. He said they finished having kids a few years ago, and the wife is now 39 years old. He didn't say how old he was. I'm assuming roughly the same age, but
I mean, I would hope she would just be okay with, like, hey, this is an open marriage because I cannot, be with you on this part of it, this adventure. So this is something that people do. I mean, you have hormones that are telling you to do something. Yeah. It's just a fact of life. I mean, so that would probably be the best option if she would just be okay with it. But I'm not her. I can't answer that for her. So good luck, buddy. I hope that would be the best solution to all this. Or probably bring in another woman that is, could be just one happy family. Like,
so if they post an update at some point in time, I'll try and catch it because I'm on Reddit more often than I should be in the evening. So if I see it, I will capture it and we can revisit. Is there
you and me both, buddy.
Anything else that we think we need to try and offer suggestion-wise to this user?
No, I think I settled that. I had a life experience with this, so I think I did my best job.
All right, let's go to the next one from Reddit. This is from r/advice, and I hit the wrong button. I apologize there, guys. I'm still getting used to this new setup here. Although it did actually transition really well on screen. I kind of like that. So the next one is from r/advice. It was posted about an hour ago, but when I refresh, this will probably update to say about 3 hours ago, asking, is it a good idea to transfer colleges? I'm in the 3rd semester of college, so a sophomore. I am absolutely miserable at my current college. It is a tiny school. Like, the number of undergrads total is smaller than my high school graduating class. I'm shit at making friends normally, but I thought it'd be like high school and eventually I'd find my people. Yeah, that hasn't happened. None of the sororities wanted me. Gaming club I joined stopped meeting completely. My roommate from last year hated me and spread rumors about me, and it's not like I have a great reputation now. I believe college is what you make of it, but honestly, I don't have time to work with here. I don't have a lot to work with here. I was always told I would find the best friends of my life here, but everyone just hates me. I am planning on talking to the school counselor before making any decisions, but I was curious if anyone could give some perspective. Transfers that went right or wrong, learning to fit in at your college, anything. I'm seeking a biology degree in hopes to go to vet school. So if anyone could suggest colleges, particularly in the southern USA, that would be a good transfer, I'd be happy to hear it. TLDR, I'm happy at my current college in sophomore year. Good idea to transfer. So we're not going to be the ones that recommend a school to this user, but the thought of transfer. If you, I don't know.
I mean, I already have an instant answer.
Willie's got an answer. Let's let you kick things off then, Willie.
No, don't transfer. That's not the point of college, to make friends and do all these things. The point of college is go get a college education. I mean, am I taking crazy pills here?
So I think you're right to an extent, but I think there's also something to be said for going to school and not being miserable. And if you can still get the same kind of degree or type of education, but be somewhere where you're happy, I don't necessarily think that's a problem. Now, there's other factors.
Yeah.
There's a matter of, are you on a scholarship at this current school you're at? Does it cost a lot less compared to the place you'd be wanting to go? Things
Is
like
it
that.
a good school?
And I'm a
Like-
I'm a cheap son of a bitch rather, and I'd be like, well, I'm not going to go spend 3 times as much money to go to this school up the road. I'd just
Yeah.
find a way to make the best of it. But I kind of understand where this person's coming from because I've seen similar things happen when I was in school, or just even as friend groups drift apart and stuff, where you're kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm not really happy here. What do I do? And I think it's worth exploring for this person. I don't know that they necessarily have to commit to leaving, but they could look into some other schools and see if there's something that fits there. But don't think that just because you move to a new school, you're automatically going to find friends and it's going to change the status quo.
I mean, it could happen. It couldn't happen. But now, here, answer this question: did you make lifelong friends that you're still friends with from college now? And if so, like how many? Like a bunch? Just a one? A handful?
Probably a handful.
I mean, you're still friends with to this day. You can see like on it, like I didn't really meet my big group of friends till like after college age that I still hang with now.
Okay, but Chris, you like still cheer on your local alma mater, the college you went to, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
you still go
so-
to the West Virginia football games of the school that you went to.
Yes.
So you're like an actual fan of the college you attended more than a fan of the education you got.
I don't know that that's necessary. No, because I really did enjoy the education I got. Now, in my mind, the athletics are separate from the academia. Now, I still am involved in the academia side by, well, not as much as I used to be. My old job used to make it so I interacted with the academic side of the house a lot. Right now, I'm just mostly a fan of the sports side of the house. But in my case, a lot of the friends I made in college, a lot of us stayed sort of in the area, and I guess where sports comes into play is that's what brings a lot of folks back a few times a year. So it makes it easier to stay in touch in ways other than just like trading text messages and stuff like that. As you know, you're going to see these people at least a little bit in the fall when everyone's back to see football games and tailgating and stuff like that.
No, see, but it definitely sounds like your college experience was at least equally as much fun as the college education you received.
Yes, that's fair.
Yeah, see, I think it depends on what you're going to that specific school for. If it's a highly specialized school and you can't get that specialized education anywhere else, then you might have to stick it out.
Yeah.
If it's a general whatever education, general degree you're getting, if it's just a thing that you can get at any college in America, if you hate the place you're at, fuck it, leave, go somewhere else. When you graduate college, you're going to end up $100,000 in debt anyways. So at least have fun while you're doing it.
Something to be said.
Why the hell
There
would
you
you
go.
want to? Why would you want to spend 4 years being miserable and then spend the next 20 years paying back the education while you were miserable the whole time you were getting it? And anything, it's going to affect their grades.
Oh,
If
no,
you're miserable, you're going to do worse at school.
it's a good point you brought up about you might be limited based off what it is you want to get your degree in, because one of my undergrad degrees, it's only offered in 2 places. My WVU, where I went to school, being one of those places. The other, I think, was Michigan State University, and I didn't want to move to Michigan. So
Yeah, see, that'd make a huge difference in the decision if it's a type of degree that you can get at any college in America, and there's other colleges you can go to, and you're miserable where you're at. Fuck it, why not transfer?
So
It ain't the end of the world.
yeah, this user's case, they say they're seeking a biology degree so they can go to vet school. And biology is not a highly specialized degree. It's offered in many colleges, I think. So
I
unless
think
you're
it's
going
offered
to
at
some,
every college.
probably,
Yeah.
unless you're going to some college that has like a terrible biology department or something like that you would transfer to, in that regard, you're probably fine, I would say.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'm
would
gonna
look for
say
reviews
this.
of the science teachers at the other colleges you're looking at going to, because they have those review sites that review professors.
Rate My Professor, I think it was, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Go
Here's a
check
big-
those, and find another science department that looks like you'd fit in better, and go give it a shot.
Well, here's a big problem I also have with this, because something they said specifically where I was just instantly like, what? Like you heard tropes in like TV shows and movies saying like high school is the best years of your life, and this person says college is the best years of your life, and I've heard that too, but it's not. Was high school the best years of your life? Because it wasn't
Absolutely
for me.
not. High school is terrible.
Yeah, my college years wasn't the best years of my life. I had a terrible time too. I mean, socially I did, but I mean,
Some
but, I
people
mean,
peak in high school. Some people peak in college.
I was never
I'm
really
still
the
working on peaking.
popular person, and I didn't really care.
I'm gonna peak at 62.
Then
That's
I'll be
my goal.
dead at 63.
Damn right. When I go out living fast and hard.
I hope I'm not still alive then myself. Die young and leave an looking corpse.
Yeah. So I think this is the throwaway account the user had, so that's why I didn't call him
That's
out.
all right.
But I think the perspective that we would offer as the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast, expert advice givers that we are, because we're highly qualified, being three white males that are 30 plus years of age each, highly
That's right.
qualified, is that if you can go somewhere that is academically equivalent, that's fine. If it's going to be too much of a burden to do so, just stay where you are and power through. I mean, it's a small school, but there's all sorts of social activities. I'm sure you could jump onto something and find folks. I know they said they've tried. I don't know. It's really, I think it comes down to, can you afford to transfer schools without it damaging your education?
I'm still saying it shouldn't matter your education, that where you're going. Like if it's a good school is what you want to do, then that should be the focus.
That's fair.
Not this social. I mean, you will have more fun afterwards too. I mean, fun doesn't end after college. That mentality does not work.
Honestly, that's another option. If they're looking at going to a vet school and they're not having fun in any of the social aspects of the college that they're at, they literally can just buckle down, kick ass at getting their biology degree and getting the highest scores on everything they can to have their pick of vet schools to go to, and then hope that at the time when they transfer to the vet school that they have a much better, experience once they're there.
Yep. Now, one other thing to consider, and this is just me being not necessarily, I don't know the right way to put this. This is a college sophomore. There's a lot of kids I went to school with that they had a grand plan their freshman, sophomore years, and they didn't really figure out what it is they wanted to do until like junior year, stuff like that, or even senior year in some cases, because a lot of the programs are set up so your first 2 years of school, you knock out all the basics and all the electives, and you don't really go into the degree-specific stuff until sometimes as late as beginning of your junior year. That wasn't the case for the engineering program I was in. You had basically had 3 semesters before you got into locking yourself down to saying you've pretty much got to do this field. You've done so much of the prereqs.
As I'm trying to remember now when I switched my major, and I think it was halfway through my sophomore year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
A lot
It's
of the
doable.
programs, at least at WVU, was set up so that you've got the time to flex through about halfway through your sophomore year up to the beginning of your junior year. You could get away with transferring with minimal impact to your class schedule or to having to stay for longer. So it's something to consider. This person's got to do a lot of math, basically, a lot of hard math to look at it and see what it's going to cost them extra, what it's going to cost them extra in time potentially if they transfer, because that's some stuff to consider. And maybe we're just too pragmatic here, being like, fuck feelings. You just got to figure out what the time's got to be.
And I'm just going against both of you. I'm just saying that should not be the main focus.
Well, I mean, who knows? This person might, they just grew up on too many John Hughes movies and they were really hoping that college is going to be the funnest part of their life. And they got there and it's just been a fucking bummer. Like,
well, John
that
Hughes
was really
about college.
Well, it's all about kids heading off to college.
Well,
but like,
they're in high school still.
If that was the big thing you were really looking forward to, like the whole time you were going through high school was going out to college and it being this great fun experience, and then you get to what you thought was going to be a great school and just everything goes to shit, like that would be depressing as fuck.
I can see that point, but I mean, life gets better. Friends are better afterwards too. I mean, they always get better.
Everything usually does get better after school, but if they have the ability to change a bad situation to what could be a better situation, why not?
That's fair. I think that's completely fair. So we have one last set of advice that kind of spawned off of Twitter. So there's like 3 sub points on this one, but we did put a call out on Twitter saying, hey, we're going to bring this segment back. Willie's going to give advice. So send your questions to us. And Willie, I think you're going to be real happy about what's about to happen.
Yay.
Here. I think you're going to be real happy with this one. So we go to the Twitters from @OneNerdyCupcake. Our good friend Naki asks, Dear Willie, what should I be when I grow up? Love, the original Naki. So Willie, what do you got for Naki? What should she be when she grows up?
Well, I did already respond to that. It says it right there. You already are the best you can be. Because she is. She's the best. I hope nothing changes.
Me too.
That's fine.
It was a
Naki's
good
just
question.
the best.
Thank
I've
you,
missed
Naki.
Naki.
We do miss Naki. Hopefully we
I need to go back up there for some more bacon pancakes.
maple bacon pancakes. I
With
agree
bourbon
with
syrup.
I agree with Willie Naki. You be you. You don't have to grow up.
My
Yeah,
advice,
I don't agree at all.
99% of times, my advice 99% of times for everything is do what makes you happy. If you're doing something that doesn't make you happy, stop doing that. I mean, I tried to tell my ex-wife that. She never listened, so she was never happy. Although I think she was one of those people that just, love not being happy.
Breaking from the chat room, we do have an advice request, but let's
Uh-huh,
finish with Naki's first, and then we'll go to it. So
Okay,
you were about to say something, Anthony, and we cut you off. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I said I completely disagree. Don't grow up. It's a trap.
Ooh,
That's
be
very
a Toys R Us kid.
There's
even
no
though they
point
went
in
out of
growing up.
business.
There's
Growing
no
up is
point
an
growing
out of
up.
business.
Stay as
deal.
childish as you can as long as you can. George Burns died at like 103, and he was a large child. And from every aspect, everything I heard, he loved his life. There's no reason to grow up and be sour and old and bitter like me.
And look
It's
at George
trap.
Burns. He was God in a couple of things.
And the devil. He was both.
Oh, yeah, he's in Bedazzled,
Kick
right?
ass.
The original Bedazzled.
Basically, yeah.
So Willie, this next one comes from the chat room. I'm going to censor their name because I didn't get permission to say their name live on the internet.
Oh,
But this
can't even
user
see it.
says, "Dear Willie, I have a rash on my willy. What should I do?"
Go see a doctor, to be all honest. I can't even read the chat. It's so small for me. So, yeah, just go see a doctor for real. I mean, I don't know where else to go with this. Or if you just want to, be holistic, rub some peanut oil on it, I guess, or coconut oil. I don't know what people are doing.
So the user does have a follow-up question. Says, "Is that what you did with yours?" I assume in regards to your rash. Did you have a rash at some point, Willie?
Did I?
I don't know.
No, I'm thinking back. There was that.
Remember,
time
this
about-
advice is unprotected, so it's possible you might have.
I mean, let's go.
I'm pretty sure he's had a rash or two.
To be completely honest, let's go back about 10, 12, 11
Oh,
years
no.
ago.
What did
There
we
was
just do?
that there was that one time with Nasty Nancy. Yeah, it wasn't.
How many penicillin shots did it take, Willie?
This guy's
No.
creepy.
Nothing. I don't think it was really anything. So I mean, I'm happy with it. I got tested. There's nothing wrong with me. So yeah, I think. To be honest, I think I just got a UTI.
Delightful. So let's go back to the Twitters. There was a follow-on. The one and only, our good friend, the Draftsman, added on to Naki's question and said, "As a poor millennial with ambition of financial stability, band health and health coverage, should I turn to a life of crime and steer clear of jobs for corporations that are killing the planet?
What was that last part?
Should I turn to a life of crime and steer clear of jobs for corporations that are killing the planet?"
No. You should get those jobs at those corporations to help kill the planet.
To help kill the planet.
Yes. Exactly.
Explain this to me, Willie. I'm confused.
I mean, so everyone can be miserable as just as much as you are.
Spread the misery to everyone, because why not?
God
Fuck them all.
damn it,
I mean,
Yeah. Fuck them all. If I'm going to be fucked, then fuck everyone else.
okay, so you're saying
All right.
jump to a life of crime. Naki then followed up and said, jumping onto this question, could I go that route that Draftsman suggested, the life of crime and steering clear of jobs for corporations? Or should I work on getting a high position in a major corporation and try to take them down from the inside? What do you think, Willie?
I thought she was going with what I was saying because I didn't read that part. Oh, I thought she was about to go with me. Ah, damn.
So close, yet so far.
Well, yes, you should get up in the corporation, but instead of taking them on and from the inside, just further their cause from the inside.
Stop it.
Yeah, I mean, fuck the world. Who cares? I mean, this planet is gonna die someday when the sun explodes. You know, however millions of years that's in the future. I don't know. So who cares?
The sun's going to devour the planet way before it explodes.
Well, you know what I mean. This planet's going to just be destroyed. It's not going to be here forever.
No.
So, I mean, I'm sure people are going to be extinct at some point in time. I don't know when that's going to
Earth
be.
will outlive us all.
Well, until, it won't be.
Fair enough. So, everyone, that has been our latest installment of Unprotected Advice. I don't know when we'll do it next, but if you have things you want to get advice on, the easiest way to get them to us, tweet to the ATGN Podcast Twitter account at ATGN Podcast and send your questions for advice there. We will pull them into a Google Doc, and on the next show that we do Unprotected Advice, Willie D. Nelson, the host of Unprotected Advice, will be happy to share his words of wisdom with you. Isn't that right, Willie?
Oh, yeah. And that story about Nasty Nancy was a true story.
Delightful.
Really?
Delightful.
I thought it was not that delightful.
It's delightful for me to hear the
Oh,
story.
and a little bit of insight into that. If you have sex in like the bed of a truck and you got one of those rubber mats in the said bed, yeah, if you're doing missionary, make sure you have something underneath your knees or something, because that rubber will eat the fuck out of your flesh on your knees. So yeah, be careful with that.
Yeah, you guys heard it here first, and that has been Unprotected Advice with Willie D. Nelson.
Be safe with your needs.
Unprotected Advice with Willie D. Nelson.
I'm protected all the way in, baby.
I'm too proud of that bump. I fully admit it. That's the only reason I played it again, is I'm too proud of it.
Should be.
If you guys are listening to the audio podcast, you know what we're talking about. Head on over to youtube.com/Gonna Geek. You can pull up episode, what is this, 372 of the All Things Good Nerdy podcast. And if you go up to time code roughly 1 hour and 10 minutes in, that'll get you to where we wrap the bit up and you can see it for yourself. We might also just put it on YouTube. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say you should put a timestamp for when it is.
Yeah, or we'll just put it on YouTube. That's one of the things I've been working on, folks, is trying to update some of our transitions to be a little fancier, or at least have a little fun. So that was one of the first ones that I kind of got done. I was like, God damn, I think this one's funny.
Fun and fancy-free, motherfuckers.
Fun and fancy-free. So, in all seriousness, though, if you do have advice, we try and take it relatively seriously. Have a few yucks here and there, but feel free to send it to us at atgnpodcast.com. We'll do this bit from time to time. I'm trying to find things that are also geeky focused, but that's tougher to find. I don't know why. What can you do? That being said, looking at the time, we do need to start wrapping up this fancy shindig we've got going on here. How do we wrap that up? It's with a little segment called What I'm Into. It's our chance to share with anyone who's watching live and listening or watching at a later date just what kind of geeky and or nerdy things we've been getting into, so that maybe, just maybe, you might want to go and check them out yourselves. Who wants to kick us off as we shut this thing down?
I don't care.
Willie, I think that means you're up.
I don't care.
I don't care.
He don't care.
So far this week going on, I have not used up my movie pass again because I've kind of already seen stuff I want to see. So, yay. I finished Man of Medan twice so far, and next should be this Monday. I should be playing the the local co-op with a couple of friends, and so I can't wait for that to have fun. And I hope to play with one Bachman and or one Chris coming up too if they decide to get it on the PS4s.
I don't have PlayStation Network.
You always gotta ruin shit, man. Motherfucker.
So I guess here's my advice. My podcast co-host is always asking me to play things on PlayStation Network, and I feel bad that I break his heart when I have to go, I don't have PlayStation Network. What should I do, Willie?
Bite the bullet and pay for like a 3-month thing of PlayStation Plus. It's only like $20, man. You tell me you can't spare $20
But I can
to
get a full year of Nintendo Switch Online for $20.
Yeah, but that shit sucks. I will give you.
Touche.
Argue that point.
I will give you
that shit sucks.
I will give you that the NES games and now the Super Nintendo games I have been enjoying the Super Nintendo games. That's the good part. The terrible part is you have to pay for this online system with no voice chat unless you want to use your battery up on your phone to do so. And so that's fucking stupid. Nintendo, get your shit together, man.
It did work
Come on.
surprisingly well, though, using their app for voice chat. I'm not saying it's a great experience, but it worked better than I thought it would.
I mean, you know what would also work great? Plug in a headphone in the headphone jack and just using that. Oh wait, there are some games that actually do that.
Fortnite.
Fortnite does it. I don't know. There might be another one. I don't fucking know. Yeah, because I don't play Fortnite on there, but I don't fucking know anything else because I don't really play online on there. But I will say those Super Nintendo games. I was actually playing some today. I was playing some Pilot Wings.
Yes, fucking Pilot Wings is great.
Yeah, I went through the first couple of levels and it's pretty. Because I never got to play it back then because I never really had a Super Nintendo.
I love Pilot Wings.
And I was also playing some Kirby's Dream Course because I will say, flashback to Naki, because some of her favorite YouTubers, the Game Grumps, I remember them playing it a lot. And yeah, I watched that a bunch, and it's fun playing it. I would hope to get someone else to join me in it because why not? It's fun. You know, you want to do it. Now, I guess you can play online too. So Naki, I wonder if she has Nintendo Online. We can play together. And then we have to use our phones to talk. Other than that, I literally spent about 4 hours driving one way and then spending another 4 hours driving back, all within 24 hours. Finally got back 3 hours ago home to the beach again to deliver a TV. So that was fun.
That sounds delightful.
Yeah, my life's a little boring this week, man. What do you want from me, man?
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, man. I respect that.
I've been hanging out with friends, friends that I met after college because, those are not the best years of your life. Don't be fooling yourself with that. I mean, it's just what you make of it, man. Like, just do what makes you happy, and then people will just be there. Or they won't be there. Have fun with yourself, man. Go masturbate or something. If you're a chick, go masturbate too. Who the fuck cares? In fact, go
masturbation for everyone is what Willie's saying.
Fuck it. Go, if you're a female, go to that other guy who's married to the asexual woman and see, hey, I heard you needed somebody in your life. Does your wife mind? If she does mind, then I'm sorry. You're gonna might shut that shit down right there. But
try to use two problems to fix one problem.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, I think that's fair, right?
Sure.
Never know. Never know.
I try.
Well, Willie,
New bird, stone.
We appreciate your trying. You got anything else you wanted to add to what you've been into?
Insert something clever here, man, because I'm all out.
That's fair. So I will go next then. I've also been playing some stuff on Nintendo Switch Online because the SNES games pretty fun. I loved Pilot Wings as a kid, and it's fun going back and playing that game again now. And having the ability to rewind when you screw something up in it, pretty fantastic, actually.
I forgot all about that feature.
Yeah.
I could have used that during the first plane segment.
This makes me feel vindicated, though, because if you remember when the SNES Classic came out, I was like, yeah, I kind of want one. But here's the thing. I would rather just put it on the friggin' Switch so I can play all my SNES games on there. And now they're doing it. So now I hold out hope that when they make the N64 Mini, a year later they put N64 games on the Switch that I can play.
And
some Mario Kart.
Speaking of Pilot Wings, you know what game I hope we never get for that Super Nintendo Classic?
What's that, Willie?
Rocket Man.
I don't even...
Or no, the Rocketeer. The Rocketeer.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah, that
Same
game
fucking
sucked.
thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, the Rocketeer was the shittiest. You can't beat the first fucking level. The first level was having to race another plane through this weird isometric, or it was like a side. It was a weird whole thing, and you had to beat it to get to the rest of the game. And the rest of the game wasn't even like that. It was like a side scroller, but you had to fly this fucking plane and race in this weird field that was kind of like a weird perspective, and you're working with a Super Nintendo controller. It didn't work. I never got past it. I'm pissed at it. It was like the first segment of Driver that was too fucking hard. It was too fucking hard. I'm a little kid. I don't know what the fuck a solemn is.
That's fair.
Solemn. I
So-
did it. I didn't have that problem. It was the time limit.
I've
The
also
time limit was the problem.
I've
of the
also
driver.
been playing some Diablo 3 with my wife because we both have Switches with Diablo 3. Pretty fun game to couch co-op because you don't have to have Switch Online to play. You can just play over local Wi-Fi. So that's been kind of fun. Diablo 3, it is just fun and easy to go through and do. Oh yeah, I'm also back on my bullshit and I'm playing fantasy football again this year when I was going to take a year off. And I'm taking it far too seriously already. I have a problem. This is why I should have taken the year off. And now I'm playing it and I'm like, God damn, I love this game. I love sitting there and being like, oh, I need some dark horse candidates because my players aren't panning out. Like researching shit online, making good waiver wire pulls. And then
you're studying. You're studying the waiver wire.
Studying so hard, man. And then I pick up people off the waiver wire. I'm like, fuck yeah, I made a good move. And I know I made a good move because I get trade offers the same day I pick that person up to try and get them off my bench. And I'm like, man, this guy ain't even on my bench. He's starting. Why am I going to trade him to you? I'm like, you got
dirty bastard.
I'm like, you got Saquon Barkley. I ain't trading you shit. That being said, delightful team name. The guy that has Saquon Barkley. It's called the Wrath of Quan. His team name.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wrath of the Quan. All right, I like it.
We had some good ones. There's Take Mahomes Country Roads is one of the teams, which I really enjoyed in our league. And what was the other funny one? I don't want to toot my own horn because I'm not sure mine's actually that funny. Hot Chub Time Machine.
I'm sure if I knew more about these football
Wow.
names, these would be funny.
There's a guy named Nick Chubb who is a running back for the Cleveland Browns. So Hot Chub Time Machine.
There are some serious names in football.
That sounds like a porn title.
It does indeed. I also went for some name play with mine, and mine is You Only Live Whence instead of Once.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
I don't get it.
It's James Bond and what is he, a wide receiver?
Yeah, he's quarterback, Carson Wentz.
I mean, I get it. I just don't know who that person is.
I'm back on my bullshit, but I'm happy to say I only checked my fantasy score for Thursday Night Football twice while we were recording the podcast tonight.
Wait.
I guess that's not bad.
Hey, Will, your boys are playing tonight. The Carolina Panthers, the ones you had to shave your beard for.
Yeah, how are they doing?
I think they were. I don't know. I didn't check the score. I just checked the fantasy score. Let me let you know here in a second.
Wait. Is the preseason still going, or were this already started?
No, we're in regular season.
We're in regular season.
Yeah, this Sunday was the start of regular season, I do believe.
Your boys are losing 10-9.
Oh,
at
1
halftime.
point. Ooh.
I'm just saying, man, they're losing.
I know. That's all right. I mean, I haven't cared about football for a while.
That's fair. You cared enough to lose your beard, though, and that still makes me laugh to this day.
I mean, it was a good joke.
It was a good
fun.
show moment, actually. Trying to think of other stuff I've been getting into. I don't even know. It's all kind of a blur. I've just been busy.
So between the Switch and fantasy football, you don't have time for anything else.
Man, I'm back on my bullshit. And I knew it was going to happen. Because last year I ran 2 teams, which was the first time I'd done that in a while. And I took first place in one league and second place in the other. And the one was a Twitter league that I played in with a bunch of folks that we all went to the same fantasy advice website. So I learned, fuck, I can't use that website for any of my research this year. And I took second place, and I was proud of myself. But yeah, I'm back on my bullshit because there was a friendly league that started up, and I felt like an elitist asshole when I was looking at the waiver wire after the first waiver wire pickups were Wednesday morning. I'm like, the fuck, no one picked up any of these good things because I purposely didn't put claims in because I'm going to try and just troll all the free agents. So nobody put any claims in, and I got everyone I wanted as a free agent and still kept my waiver priority. So yeah, fuck yeah, I love this game.
You have a problem.
I know, I love the game. All right, so I fully admit, I don't play for money. It's playing just for bragging rights and talking shit. But I love football. I fully admit that. I also love like the gamesmanship of fantasy football, like the researching, trying to find like the dark horse candidates, taking that risk and having it pay off. I love that when I'm winning. When I'm losing, I'm like, motherfucker, I should have started this guy instead. I convinced myself, I talked myself out of doing something smart, and I get really pissed at myself. So
all right.
I'm 1-0 right now, so I'm in a good mood. When I go on like a 3-game losing streak, I'm going to be sitting here like, God damn it, why'd I do this? Shit.
So you're not playing for money.
No, it's just for
So
bragging.
you
rights.
have a problem, and you're not even profiting from it. You're doing something wrong.
I'm not even losing from it, is the more important way to look at it.
See. Yeah. At the end of the season, he might have a little aggravation. He'll know a little more about football, but he's not going to lose any money.
I don't play fantasy football for money because then I right now I can walk away from my research. Like, I think I'm comfortable with where I am. If I'm playing for money, then it's like 2 minutes before kickoff. And I'm like, do I do this? Do I do that? And I'm like, oh, fuck. And then like 10 seconds before kickoff, I'm like, submit lineup. And I'm like pissed about it.
And you're going to Ruxin yourself.
Yeah. I fucking totally Ruxin myself a few times where I'm just like, why did I do that? Why did I tinker?
That sounds very fucking dirty.
Oh yeah.
I want you to
a stinker tinker.
And I kind of want you to describe it to. I want you to describe it to me because I might want to try it myself.
A stinker tinker? That's when you sit on your phone, or sit on your toilet taking a shit while you mess with your lineup on your phone.
Minutes.
Is that a metaphor for a penis?
No.
Nope.
There's also rosterbation, which I think Willie would really enjoy.
Yeah.
Is that when you masturbate to the Super Bowl Shuffle video?
That's when you masturbate to your roster because you like it so much it turns you on sexually, according to the league.
Yep. Because you drafted so well, it gets you hard.
Does that happen in the show?
Yeah.
Ruxin roster baits a couple times in the show.
You roster baits in Vegas.
Well, to be fair, he did kind of masturbate because his wife wasn't putting out for a while. They were that the first season, I believe, or second season. It's early on.
I think it's second season, when they go to Vegas with Ocho Cinco.
I love that show, guys.
It's one of the greatest shows ever. It's honestly, I haven't rewatched it in a while. I need to rewatch it again.
Never finished it.
It's fucking fantastic.
It's one of the best shows. I just kind of lost into it.
I bought it all on Vudu when it was down to like $20 for the entire series. So since it's no longer on Netflix, I now own it on Vudu.
Nice. That's one I should put on like my Vudu wish list and keep an eye on for it.
Yeah, that's what I've been getting into. Like I said, I'm back on my bullshit. So you guys are going to have to bear with me for the next 16 weeks as I struggle with my fantasy football addiction.
Football's all good.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's me. Anthony, wrap things up for us. What have you been getting into?
A little bit of Dead by Daylight, a little Apex, fucking getting aggravated by Anthem, fucking crashing and shit because 1 minute it's fucking fantastic with the updates they've done and made the game more fun, made the shit that you buy more accessible, added in new weapons, new skins, and then I spent an hour in a fucking Cataclysm just to have the game crash and kick me out literally 2 seconds before I beat the boss and get no loot. Like, it's fucking aggravating. When that game works now, it's beautiful, but goddamn, it's aggravating. I downloaded Darksiders 3. They have that as one of the free PlayStation Plus games this month, so I'm going to do a run through of that. I really enjoyed Darksiders 2, where you played as Death. 3, you play as the sister Fury, so I'm looking forward to playing through that. Those games have been fun as hell. I really enjoyed they're like, open world RPG, run around hack and slashing people. Those are fun.
She's not one of the Four Horsemen?
I'm not sure if she is or not, but the character is Fury. She's supposedly a sister of War and Death on what I read on the write-up, but I don't know if she actually is one of the Horsemen or not. So I'm not sure. But yeah, I'll probably stream that just 'cause it'll be a fun one to stream. And then I've been playing a bunch of No Man's Sky because honestly, it's some of the best like calming meditation when I come home after an aggravating day because I will literally just put on my headphones, pop on an episode of Star Talk Radio. I literally went back and downloaded the entire series and just started over from the oldest episode available that's on iTunes. So I'm listening to Star Talk now from like 2014, I think. And like I'm just listening to every episode of Star Talk, letting them roll one after the next as I fly around and explore the galaxy and mine and build my ships and my bases. And it's like great, like relaxating. Like there's there's a little fighting in it with some sentries and stuff, but like there's basically no fighting. You don't really have to fight. You can fight if you want to. Other than that, you can just run around and explore. Like it's really nice to have a game like after the aggravation of like Apex or getting hunted in Dead by Daylight. Like it's nice to have a game that's just almost pure relaxation. And then like I said, I finished the first book of Game of Thrones, so I'm really happy about that because I had started reading that book like 3 times. I finally bought the entire box set or the box set of the books that are done so far. And so I finished the first one and I'm like 90 pages into the second one. I'm really enjoying them. They are really good books. And yeah, it's the standard thing where the books have the extra details that you don't get even in a giant expansive show like the one we had. So it's fun reading all the extra stuff. And then also for my book at home, I finally started reading Nerd Duel by Simon Pegg. I had picked this up a while ago. It's been sitting on my shelf, so been looking forward to reading to this. And yeah, he's such a geeky kid. Like it's a really well written book. I love how he set up the whole autobiography, the way he did it, and it's been really enjoyable. I'm like 50 pages into that so far. And then I am fully caught up on Wu-Tang and American Saga, the story of the formation of the Wu-Tang Clan on Hulu. It is a fucking fantastic show. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. The only thing I don't like is that it's coming out 1 week at a time. And so now that I've watched the first 3, I just watched 4 when it dropped, I think, last night. And so, yeah, now I have to go episode to episode. So that's the only annoying thing about it. But other than that, it's great. And, man, I got to tell you, the kid they got playing young, old, dirty bastard is some of the craziest shit you've ever seen. Because it's a guy that's like late teens, early 20s, acting like, basically how we would assume ODB acted when he was in his late teens, early 20s. And it's hilarious to see. And the actors are great. All the actors in the show are great. But yeah, it's really cool to see where all the members of the Wu-Tang Clan actually came from and grew up in the neighborhoods in New York, and the shit that they went through before they ended up forming the crew that they ended up forming and becoming its huge worldwide successes. So yeah, it's been a really enjoyable show. I'm digging that one. And then yeah, other than that, I'm back on. I finished. Damn it! What was the one I finished? I can't remember the show I finished, but it was good, I think. But yeah, they dropped a season 9 of The Walking Dead, so I'm like 3 episodes into that, and then I got back onto Supernatural. I'm on like season 12. I'm like getting closer and closer to the end of being done. Of what's
the final coming up.
Yeah, what's on Netflix. So yeah, I'm hoping by the time I get to the end of season 14 on Netflix, it'll be time for them to drop season 15 on Netflix, and I can just finish the whole thing. And then, yeah, I've watched the first 2 or 3 episodes of Carnival Row on Amazon, and that's a really enjoyable show, too. Cara Delevingne, who was the sorceress chick on Suicide Squad, that was one of those movies where it's like, this is another supermodel that can't really act. It's like, oh, no, that was just a bad script. Like, go watch Carnival Row. She can act. She's a really good actress, actually. So, yeah, with the right material, it's good stuff. And excuse me. Honestly, I think it might be the best acting I've ever seen Orlando Bloom do. Like, he's fantastic in the show. So yeah, it's a really cool world where it's it's like steampunk London mixed with fairies and pucks
very
and pixies and stuff.
I heard.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's very cool. It's a great kind of like genre mix up. And so yeah, knowing that like Mark Bernardin's writing on season 2, like I'm looking forward to watching all of season 1 and seeing where the show goes, because it starts off with kind of like a Jack the Ripper type killer is killing fairy folk, fae folk, and of course half the cops are racist, and so they don't care because it's not humans that are being killed. And Orlando Bloom's character is the one guy who like wants to save everybody. Yeah, solid show. Special effects on it are gorgeous. Some of the practical stuff, like the people wearing horns, the wings that they've got on some of the people, the coloration, skin tones, scales, fangs, claws. Like just the actual physical practical effects you can tell were there on set are fantastic. The Creature Studio, like it's some of the best stuff I've seen outside of the Nicotero guys, the stuff that they've done with The Walking Dead, where they've kept, zombies moving and interesting for, 10 years now. And it's like, it's fantastic work. But yeah, all good shows, all worth checking out. So yeah, there's good stuff out there. You just got to find it.
And you were talking about how that show on Hulu is only coming out weekly. Sadly, that seems to be the model everyone's going to now, except like Netflix. Yep. Everyone else.
You mean Amazon? You mean Amazon?
No, there was the
Wu-Tang
ODB
is
one.
on Hulu.
Oh, I thought you meant like the Amazon or the fairy.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know if Carnival Row. I think all of season 1 is on there. I just
it did.
It,
yeah, it did. All 8 episodes.
So it seems like the reason I brought that up is because we touched on Disney Plus earlier. Disney Plus is doing the weekly release model as well, similar to what CBS All Access is doing and things like that.
Well, I mean, it was also the thing where Netflix could do it because they had no competition, really.
Yeah.
And so now, with there being actual competitors, I mean, they're not going to take down Netflix, but they are competing for Netflix's time. And so Netflix might re-change, their philosophy. We might start seeing weekly shows on Netflix again. And
competition is always good.
They tried a couple and they canceled most of them as far as I know, but there's a chance it could happen again.
That's true.
The consumers always win with competition.
That's true.
Usually.
Well, guys,
I do have 2 things to quickly add.
Go ahead, Willie.
First thing, I think I'm pretty sure I saw the official announcement that Stranger Things Dead by Daylight is coming out the 17th, which is this Tuesday.
Yes.
And I did get first place in the first week of the season on the Fantasy Movie League, surprising me completely.
Yeah.
I went from
Stuck
fourth
ahead
to
of me, you
first. I
bastard.
told you I was hoping it was going to happen, and it did. I'm hoping I can keep it up. And I'm done.
All right. Well, thank you, folks, for joining us tonight. This was not the regularly scheduled time we could do this. I had a scheduling conflict this upcoming Sunday. So our next live show will be on 10 days from now, Sunday, September 22nd, 2019. We'll go back to our normal time slot at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. You guys can do the math from there. You can find us over on geeks.live. That is the official streaming home of the Gonna Geek Network. We also broadcast directly to Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, Periscope, and I think Facebook Live might still be working. I'm not sure. It works like half the time, so maybe, I don't know.
You can always try.
We'll try again. So we will be gone for 10 days, but you're not missing an episode. If you're watching this live, this will not hit the YouTube feed or our podcast feed until Sunday. So you're getting a sneak preview of the podcast before it releases. So we're maintaining our regular release schedule, even though we recorded early. So thank you, folks, who did check out live the show. I did see Stephen John Drew was there on the Twitch side. We also have Crooked Delight joining us on Mixer tonight. So thank you to the both of you for joining us. As we prepare to shut this thing down, rather, you guys have any final thoughts for us?
Hey, future me, I hope you enjoyed sleeping in on Sunday. Yeah.
Oh, God, it's going to be delightful, isn't it?
Any of my opinions I shared, just my one advice that trumps all of that is be happy.
It's true. Well said, Willie. Well, guys, on that note, we're going to shut this thing down. And like I said, we'll see you again live on Sunday, September 22nd. 10-day break. Thank you so much for joining us and accommodating us as we go off schedule this week. Bye, guys.
Later.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek radio app, and over at our network home at gonnageek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com.